Hey folks, just want to let you know that this episode was recorded last week, last Friday specifically, and so there's going to be some news being discussed that may seem outdated by the time that you are listening to this. It's still interesting. It's still interesting to hear our opinions about some of the things that are going on. None of it has necessarily been ruled out. It just might be a little bit of old news compared to some of the stuff that's happened this week. So I just want to let you guys know that it's been a fun episode where we did a whole mock draft for our VBBFL as we did last year as well. So I hope you listen to our wild teams come together. So yeah, hope you enjoy. Welcome everyone to the Virtual Bold Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend, Matt.
So when it comes to football, one of my main enjoyments of it is, of course, fantasy football.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is not as big into fantasy as I am, but I do like to partake in it. And one way to do that and one way to practice is to do this thing called best ball, where you just draft a bunch of players, and then the system automatically starts each week. And there's a little bit of money on the line. It's nothing too much. It's like $3 or $5 per thing that you start. This is like the only gambling related thing that I do.
Sure.
So I'm gonna do one. Well, I was going to say that I was gonna do one throughout the podcast today, just to see like what would happen. But seems like not many people are using the app that I use right now. So I'm queued in one. It's about half full.
Okay.
Still waiting on 6 people to start. So when it does start, and when I get to my first round pick, I will stop the podcast, stop whatever we're talking about, and we'll talk about who I'm going to take for my first pick.
Oh God. Okay. It kind of works with this episode because it's going to be a lot of just like nonsense talking, and
Yeah.
we're also doing a draft this episode, so
Yeah.
it's all kind of work together. It's gonna get it might get a little confusing, but we'll stay the course. You just guys got to stay on your toes. You know?
Just be, you the listener, and you, Chris, be prepared for me to just suddenly interrupt. Like, I won't let you finish your I won't let you finish your thought because I'm on a timer.
Yes.
Type of urgent. We're gonna stop this.
Yes. Okay. So I will. We. All right. So we will just. Yeah. Everyone just like kind of like just stay vigilant. All right. As you listen to today's episode, which. Welcome everyone to another episode of Virtual Ball Boys. First time in a while since it's just me and Matt here. It's good. It's good to be alone again. You know. It feels good to just have this little tiny space here of we love our friends, of course. But
we love our friends, but sometimes we don't think that they know what we're talking about. So.
that too, and well, it's also just like I feel bad because if there is something that like NFL wise that we want to talk about, I feel they're gonna be like we have nothing to say to this. There's nothing that we can contribute, so I feel bad subjecting them to that. I do appreciate though Walsh and Gabe for being part of the last few weeks of episodes, but today. Football's back, baby. We got training camp going on right now, and lots of news to talk about. And when I say lots of news, I mean like 4 stories that are kind of like the big stories. Two of which are related to each other. So I mean, it's whatever. So we're gonna go through that. There's also some chaos going on in college football that I do want to talk about, and I'm very much enjoying. I don't know about enjoying, but it's just chaotic, and chaos is good.
It's wild.
And then we are also going to be doing a mock draft to kind of prepare for the VBBFL, to give you guys a little bit of a taste of like the difference with this year in terms of the inclusion of animation characters from different movies and TV shows. And we'll talk more about that when we get to the draft itself. But yeah, that's the slate. Let's get into the news. First things first. Matt, it was a good run. It was a lot of fun.
It was.
While it lasted, but Aaron Rodgers has returned to the Packers. they have agreed on principle, on basically terms that include a reworked contract that will basically set him up to be able to be traded next year, and that if he were to become a free agent, that they could not use the franchise tag on him, and they would have to agree on a contract instead. And he had plenty to say during the press conference, with the basic gist of saying not happy with the personnel decisions. I wish that there's certain wide receivers that were cut that I just had more say on. He was saying how he definitely kept on trying to emphasize that the Jordan Love pick was not the sole reason for this, but I kind of think it is.
What else would it be?
Yeah, well, I mean, the big thing that he kept on trying to push was I'm gonna forget the guy's name. He's with Buffalo now, but like Jake Lamarnoff, whatever the fuck. I have no idea. I completely butchered that last name. But there's this one wide receiver that got cut in September last year, and he was pissed off about it. And because he felt like that wide receiver was a great ad during the or was great during that training camp, and then Packers decided to cut him for according to Aaron Rodgers, no good reason. So, and it still seems like he has some bitterness towards the organization, but he loves the town and he loves the fans, and it seems like he's just willing to make some concessions that this will be his last year with the Green Bay Packers, and we'll see him on a new team next year. So it's going to be like Tom Brady watch next year, only with Mr. Rogers. What is your thoughts on it all? A lot going on.
Heartache. Egg on my face, foot in my mouth at the same time. No, honestly, this was the most expected scenario. I had a feeling for about, I would say 90% of this offseason that Aaron Rodgers was going to be back to the Packers. It was the last 10% before he got signed where I was like, oh my God, he's not going to play for the Packers. And then it was just slid me the other way. I just like to be as upfront as possible about my displeasure and I don't know why. I don't know what I was gonna say following but just I don't like the Packers. Unliking, unenjoyment
of the Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, since you are a Bears fan, I totally get that. I was kind of bummed out by this. Because like, I don't know. Not that I was expecting it to be like this a crazy showdown, but I was expecting it to go a little bit longer, to have like a little bit of drama. I was expecting it to maybe like week 1. Oh, is Aaron Rodgers going to show up in week 1? Oh, we don't know. And then like have it be that we get to see Jordan. Like I feel like it would have been a much more, not to say that it wouldn't be a fun game with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is always fun to watch, but the idea of watching Jordan Love take the first snaps week 1 and play against the Saints and see how well he does, I feel like that would have been a very interesting storyline, and it would have been just this tension over the organization. But of course, everyone has to fucking play nice, and that's fine. That's just a personal thing for me. But I'm happy to see him back there, but I'm like kind of like, man, I feel like we're missing out on like something, on like a real good juicy training camp story, because right now there's not much happening outside. No. I mean, you got the we'll talk in a second about a few of the trade people that want to be traded. Speaking of trades,
wait, hold on.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Can I make a very quick prediction that the Packers are going to lose in the NFC Championship again this year?
Go for it. I mean,
exact the same thing that's happened the past 2 years. It's going to happen again this year.
Now, okay, so here's the thing now. So the first time it was a blowout. Second time it was after terrible decision making at the goal line. If this is going to happen the third time, how does it end? I'm not gonna hold you to it, but what would be the next step for you if they're going to lose again? How are they going to lose?
So between a blowout and then the worst decision ever made,
it's gotta be a ref, right?
Yeah, let's go ref.
Yeah, it's got something ref
Referee
related.
mistake. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's
they, monkey
sense.
paw. The monkey paw's finger curled when Des Bryant caught the ball. Now it's finally going to come back to them, however many years later.
Right, exactly. There you go. That works out perfectly. Speaking of trades and related to this situation, one of the things that I guess the organization Aaron Rodgers agreed to was the return of Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb, who was honestly probably going to get cut by the Texans this during the training camp. They ended up shipping Randall Cobb to the Packers for a 6th-round draft pick, and so Cobb reunites with the Packers, reunites with Aaron Rodgers. This is an interesting move to me. I feel like, Randall Cobb has kind of fallen under the radar a bit. He was much more of a bigger deal and much more fun to watch when he was in Green Bay. He had a short stint in Dallas. I think he was in Houston, and I don't even remember him being in Houston at the same time. So I am curious of how this is gonna work out, if it's gonna do anything. But I expect him to still. I expect him to be like a 3rd or 4th wide receiver maybe on this team.
Yeah, and it's wild that. It's still wild that Green Bay doesn't have doesn't have a second wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they could roll with him still. I mean, they seem to have a few
No, they have a lot of wide receiver 3s. They don't have any second wide receivers.
Right. I mean, it could be that Cobb does that if he goes back to what he used to be as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can be that now, but you have Amari Rodgers there who just was drafted, and that he could develop into a wide receiver too. But I don't know. Will Randall Cobb's presence hurt that? Who knows? And then you have MJV, and you have Lazard. I'm pretty sure is still there. Is he still there? Actually, I don't know if
Lazard is still there.
Okay, yeah. For some reason, I remember. I feel like I have a memory of someone switching teams for that, where it was a wide receiver there.
Geronimo Allison moved to the Lions.
That's it.
Last year. It's probably who you're thinking
of. So. That's yeah. I agree with you that it is a wide receiver they all kind of are wide receiver 3s, but I don't know, the thing is that there is some sort of mea culpa that we have to end up having at some point. They've been shitty about not getting him wide receiver help, but at the same time they're succeeding still. They're still winning
games.
Right,
yeah. But it's the concept of you are so close and you just need the one thing to put you over, and you refuse to do that. That's the dumb part.
100%. And I do think that even if it is that the wide receiver 2 isn't locked in, there is enough there, and I think enough talent with all the wide receiver 3s, I guess if you want to refer to it that I think that they're basically in the same position that they were last year. But right,
Chris, the draft is starting.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
And I have the first pick, and we're not going to talk about this one much because it's Christian McCaffrey. But
okay.
The one I do want to talk about is the end of the 2nd round, start of the 3rd round. So when that comes up,
we'll go deep dive.
I'll interrupt you again.
Okay, sounds good. This is a draft heavy day, my friends.
Yeah, I love drafting. I'm in a Pokemon draft league. That's how much I love drafting.
Drafting's fun, man. It's good. It's good times. Speaking of another trade, wanted to bring this to light. I don't have the trade terms in front of me, but the essential thing is wide receiver Anthony Miller of the Bears is no longer on the team. He has been shifted to Houston.
Yeah.
And so that is the end of a tenure that was very disappointing overall. What was your thoughts on that trade?
It was what was for the best. Unfortunately, Miller just never came to the player that we needed him to be, and Darnell Mooney is so. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's better, and you guys.
It's better, and it'll be good for Miller to try to get a start somewhere else. Maybe not the Texans being a good place to better start yourself, but
yeah. Well, I mean, maybe he has a shot.
True.
Wide receiver 1.
At some opportunity, yeah.
Well, I mean, because
Brandon Cooks is there.
Yeah, Cooks, I guess, would be the number 1 wide receiver there. Yeah, Jesus, yep. Texans are so weird because I forget Will Fuller's now with the Dolphins.
Yep.
Ah, man, wild. Speaking of the Texans, Deshaun Watson is back. He's somehow back. I mean, this is just a bizarre fucking story at this point.
Yeah.
He, even with all the allegations, and now criminal charges are being potentially pursued.
So more than just like civil stuff?
No, it's civil
Okay.
and criminal stuff now.
All right.
Where they are looking into Deshaun Watson. And so this is but somehow he was like, you know what, I'm gonna come back. I guess that was something that he and his agent agreed on. And they've been doing some weird shit with him on the field. Like, he's not been practicing as a quarterback, or if he is, it's very rarely. He's practicing at like safety. He's practicing at running back.
I've heard that. That's wild.
He's practicing in all these fucking like weird positions.
What are they doing?
But I think that my theory maybe is that they're trying to avoid having to do like the mandatory quarterback press conference, so either having him practice on every other position. That's my theory. I don't know that for sure. That's
actually hilarious.
Yeah, they're trying to avoid having him talk to the media in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
This is wild because I feel like the NFL, they're looking into it. They're still investigating it, but they're also waiting for the police to have some sort of say in it. They're waiting for some sort of, because the whole time that I keep on hearing people say, okay, well, they're going to do a settlement. Are they? Because I feel like if there's going to be a settlement, that would have been done by now. I feel like both parties feel like they have like some sort of argument that they're willing to kind of continue to pursue in court, and because they think they can win. That's my theory. Yeah, no,
it's wild. I don't like the Texans.
Yeah, no, Texans are terrible this year. Gonna be
0-16 candidates.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I feel bad for Coley. I feel like he's gotten put as someone who got an opportunity for the first time. You know, the fact that he's getting put into this situation is just
damn. Okay, I'm on the clock. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
All right. So I wanted Darren Waller almost got to me, and I was really hoping he would, but I don't get him. I have a lot of wide receivers to choose from. AJ Brown, I'm not super high on. Justin Jefferson is one that I think I would try drafting here. Running backs, I don't feel super strongly on. I think I'm gonna pick Justin Jefferson because I think he fell a little bit for me.
I agree with Justin Jefferson because I feel like AJ Brown he might lose some touches to Julio Jones.
Right, yeah. So my other options are Keenan Allen, CeeDee Lamb, Terry McLaurin. Keenan Allen, I kind of like a lot. He's and especially as a second wide receiver.
Sure.
I think his floor combined with Jefferson's ceiling, and then also what's his name? Justin Herbert getting another year under his belt.
Yeah. I think either is a good pick, but I would lean towards Jefferson because I feel like he's really he's gonna become.
Well, I got both of them.
Oh, you did get both of them. Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
Jefferson and Allen.
Well, there you go. Just to close the book on the Watson story, I am that if you're gonna say anything is I guess juicy about this training camp, that's like that has some meat on the bones in terms of just drama and just being just so fucking bizarre.
But don't worry, the team is looking to trade him for at least 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, that was reports going on. I'm like, who the fuck is gonna do that? Al?
Who wants to do that?
But guess
and I love the verbiage of at least.
Like, my God, like, do the Texans not realize the value of a guy who has been like accused by so many women of doing terrible things to them in massage parlors? Like, this is like that's not 3 first-round picks. That's not even a 7th. That's out of the league. Should be.
Get him out of there.
Jesus Christ. All right. Last news story before the college football stuff. I wanted to acknowledge some of the trade talk that's going down that has not been executed, but those who want to get out of their situations. Chandler Jones has been one who has felt like he wants to. He has requested a trade to move away from the Cardinals, which is a shame for Mr. Steve Keim because he brought in J.J. Watt to pair with Chandler Jones. So I don't know if they're going to move Chandler Jones, but I feel like they could probably get a good package for him. And another player, Xavier Howard of the Dolphins, he is also potentially going to be, or he's definitely looking for a trade. He's not happy with his current status of the organization. Feels like he is should be the highest paid cornerback on the team. He is not. Byron Jones is. And he has been a very good cornerback for them. It will be interesting to see if they can get some value for him, even if he has a kind of a checkered past with some off-field incidents. So Jones and Xavier Howard, your reaction to either of them?
I don't know. I haven't looked super far into things. I think that both of them honestly are in the best situation staying on the teams they're currently on. In terms of at least like consistency and getting to win, but I don't know their lives. I don't know their story.
Sure,
it's different for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know if it's Jones. I know Xavier Howard's made his intentions clear. I don't know what Jones in terms of what he's looking for. If he's looking for a better contract, or if he's looking for he just doesn't like the situation in Arizona. Like I would be curious about more details on that front. But I do agree with you though. Like I feel like Howard can absolutely still shine with the Dolphins secondary, and then with Jones, I feel like he has an opportunity to just he could outshine JJ Watt, and
totally.
but I feel like with him and Watt working together, if Watt can at all kind of pull into like, you know, a few years ago when he was still like in his prime, like if he can all get to that level of production, like how tough that defensive front for the Cardinals is going to be.
Totally.
I feel like
real quick. Did he fucking take him? Okay. All right. Do you want to do? How do you feel about Kenny Galladay this year?
He's on the Giants.
He's on the Giants.
I feel he's a risky pick in case he gets injured.
I'm gonna draft him.
Yeah, take him. Why not? It's not a bad pick.
So I'm between for running back either Josh Jacobs or Mike Davis. Josh Jacobs has Kenny Drake there, of course, but I still think is a good player versus Mike Davis, who's like the only one there.
Oh, take Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs, yeah.
Take him.
All right. Sorry for interrupting.
No. we're transitioning now. I want to talk this college football shit.
Let's do that. That will also be the last. Sorry, that will also be the last time I interrupt you because not important from here, but I do like this start of 5 players. So.
Okay, sounds good. Let's talk college football because this is just so fucking insane. So we've heard for a while that, you know, teams that like Oklahoma and Texas have been kind of looking into different conferences, and a report earlier, either late last week or early this week, I forget when it's first started, but essentially stated that Texas and Oklahoma were interested in pursuing joining the SEC. This kind of, you know, turned everyone's heads upside down, and everyone's like, holy fucking shit, what the fuck, this is actually gonna happen. But I didn't think it was gonna be this fast, that the SEC would unanimously vote to extend invitations to both Oklahoma and Texas. The only potential holdout would have been Texas A&M, who was not thrilled with the idea of Texas joining the SEC at first, but then
understandably, but
then that seemed to shift a bit after a while. So basically what's going to happen is that Oklahoma and Texas, I'm going to take a wild guess here, and I'm going to say that they're going to accept those invitations and then they're going to go to the SEC, and this has left Big 12 spiraling. They are so fucking scared about losing their footing.
They're screwed.
They're absolutely screwed. And what's so funny to me is that the commissioner, I guess, of the Big 12 conference came out with a statement, and he fucking laid into Texas, Oklahoma, and the SEC, but he also was like, this is a result of ESPN stepping in and trying to get the Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC for their own ratings.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck? What do you mean ESPN's trying to do this? And ESPN's just like, what the fuck, dude? Everyone's like, what the shit's going on? And so Texas and Oklahoma is going to the SEC. Big 12 stuck with 8 teams. And it was not just ESPN that the Big 12 commissioner was accusing. He was also accusing that it was another conference that is also trying to get Big 12 teams. And that people were assuming that it's the American Conference that is trying to pull teams from the Big 12. And so everything's falling apart for the Big 12. I just want to know where you're at with what you understand of the story.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I don't know. I think that the conferences in college football are a good thing. I like how they kind of separate, make everything their like own little thing. You don't have to travel super far, and I think that each one having their identity. As you know, I am Big Ten strong. I am Big Ten schools are like my fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
I will always root for a Big Ten school over another school if they're head to head, even if I don't like that Big Ten school usually.
Right.
So like I get the whole like conference loyalty type of thing. At the same time, if you're treated poorly by your conference, or in probably Texas and Oklahoma's case, you aren't challenged in any sort of way by your conference, just leave.
But like,
go somewhere else.
But Baylor,
figure it out.
Like Baylor has been like in the competitive, don't like fucking Texas over here acting like it's been like this powerhouse school where they've been like in the 5th or 6th place.
That is also really funny how fucking inflated Texas's ego is.
Did you see the tweet? I retweeted it, but it was Maryland. It was the Maryland Terrapins Twitter account. That it was where it was the car like speeding into like the service road, and the sign above it is it's a sign pointing straight that says lose to Maryland in the Big Ten, and the right turn into the service road is the SEC.
Because they originally like it was Big Ten a couple years ago that they were going to join.
Yeah, right. I remember. And you and I were talking about that before this all kind of started really unfolding. Where we were like, the Texas and Oklahoma were looking into the Big Ten. My feeling about it is, I hate it. I love the chaos of this whole thing because I think everyone's just losing their fucking minds about it. But they're on this. But like putting that all the chaos around it aside, I hate it for college football because I feel like I hate one thing that has really annoyed me about college football in general has been like this idea of the importance of conferences and the importance that certain conferences are going to have stronger schedules, and because of that, because of the prestige around certain conferences, aka the SEC, that they're going to be always considered for placement in playoffs and being will more likely be higher ranked on like these lists than other colleges and other teams. And it's just to have 16 teams in that conference, more than I think any other conference for my understanding.
Easily. It might be close to ACC, but because I know ACC is on the bigger side.
It is. I do think it is going to. I don't love conferences personally. I feel like, or at least what they have stood for as of late, because it feels like they are these establishments that have allowed certain college football teams to enjoy kind of the being always considered to be top tier. Because they're part of those conferences and like no one really considering like the lower tier conferences because they play easy schedules because the teams in those conferences are so easy to play, so we're not going to we won't consider them as hardly as about SEC. Like, people will consider a 7-5 SEC team over a 12-0, American Conference or Mountain West Conference team, because a 7-5 SEC team has a lot of a tougher road. And it's just like, football's fucking football, bro. I mean, I understand that you got the better players on these teams, but like, it's football. Random shit happens in football all the time, and it's hard to go undefeated. It's hard to go 11-1 because playing the game is brutal, and so I don't know. I feel like this whole idea of conferences and those being such a weighted element of the game, a part of me wishes that we had a more structured system where all the teams that are on Division I football actually feel like Division I teams. Because to me, it's like SEC, ACC, and then the Big Ten, and like this little group on top, and then like Pac-12, and Big 12, and then like all the Group of 5 conferences. Like, it just feels like there's it doesn't feel like Division I football across the board. It feels like there is these structures within Division I football, and only the people in these only the teams in these popular conferences are always going to get the attention. And it just, I don't know. It just, I feel like I hate the idea that we're going to be forming these super leagues now, where it's just like all these teams that compete every single year, all like, for the Group of 5, their prize is a bowl game and a conference championship, and that's it. They can never think about national championship, and that's fucking bullshit for me.
Yeah, I agree.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my take on it. I realize that there is a joy in, there's a joy in these rivalries, and I know that Texas versus Texas A&M is going to be fun again once that happens. And I get the fun elements of this happening, but I'm a little jaded by the whole idea, because I think college football as a concept is just a little obnoxious. That's all. I like college football. I'll watch it. It's some of the structures a little obnoxious. They got their NIL bill passed, that they're actually getting paid to do things now.
That part's good.
that part's good, but everything else kind of still sucks.
Late, but good.
Yeah, super late. So it fucking took you long enough. All right. All right. Next, and for the final thing that we're going to be doing today. So we've been building towards the VBBFL. We are in the process of organizing people at the moment, and making sure that they are on board with the idea of the draft, and we're going to be designating teams sometime soon, designating general managers, and we'll be doing the draft. And so the draft this year is going to be a little different, not too much though. Essentially, as we talked about, we are doing both we're doing both video game characters, but we're also doing cartoon characters from both movies, TV shows, or whatever media you consume cartoons with. All options are on the table there. And so what we thought would be interesting is we would do a mock draft, but as I'm big into, I'm like, don't watch any TV, so I'm going to be drafting solely video game characters. And so in a comparison, Matt is going to be drafting solely cartoon characters.
Indeed. So it's not really a draft, because we can't steal from each other.
Pretty much. Which is okay. I mean, it's just like, it's a way to just be like, this is what our teams would look like right now.
Yeah. Do you want to kind of go by position? That's how I have mine listed.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it.
Okay.
And just to kind of remind people about the structure of how these teams are going to work, we did not change anything from last year. So the draft will basically be that everyone's required to draft one quarterback, one running back, 2 wide receivers, 2 offensive linemen, 2 defensive players, and 1 kicker, in addition to 3 players from any position. So they can draft 3 extra quarterbacks if they wanted to. Although I don't know why the fuck you would do that. You could kind of divide that amongst a few positions, but you must meet those requirements at least, so that way we can get it to a decent point.
You could do what I call the Jacob special, which is make it so that there's 2 players at every position.
That was solid. Like the fact that he pulled that off, I was just like, you know what? That was very uniform, and I appreciated that. But I like that with those situations, especially with every team that had 2 kickers last year. We ended up picking our favorite.
Oh, absolutely. Even if they had the worst stat,
yeah,
we still gravitated to certain ones. Like I'm pretty sure Chun-Li was a better kicker than Eggman.
Yeah,
but we always had Eggman come out
because Eggman was just so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a lot of fun to do it that way. Yeah, how about you start us off here with your quarterback?
All right. So, I've got 1 quarterback. And all of these are from cartoons and movies that I've enjoyed fairly recently. I think 1 or 2 of them are from like, oh, this is stuff I grew up on. A lot of these are very relatively recent shows / movies. All of them have a seal of recommendation from me. I want to bring that out at the start. So if I mention a character from a show or movie, I recommend that you go watch it. And I'm saying that now so that I don't have the urge to say it for every single fucking thing on this list.
Yeah, that might be the same for me here.
Yeah. So my quarterback is from OKKO.
Okay.
I'm going with Rad.
Rad. All right, tell me a bit about Rad.
So Rad is a green alien who works at the bodega with KO, the title character. He is basically like the biggest like poster boy for himbo that you could like. If his picture's in the dictionary.
Yeah. Now, just because I have a few different, I'm looking at images. Is it Radicals X? Is his name?
Yeah, the most normal one. Radicals is his full name. Radicals X is his full name. Everyone just calls him Rad.
Okay.
He's gone through a couple different forms.
Yeah, I see Turbo Rad.
Yeah,
I see a cat version of Rad.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, cool. I guess I will go next here. I also only picked 1 quarterback. I had a few characters in mind here. There's a lot of heroes. The way that we try to present this to our friends, because many of those who are drafting do not follow football, is that we kind of we present it in a way that we kind of frame it as if it is part of a video game or part of just a story. And so the quarterback, we always say, is like the leader, the face of a game. But I decided to go in a little bit of a different direction with this one. I decided to go with the person that believes that they're the hero of the entire game, but is actually the villain. And that is Audrey Redheart from Wandersong.
All right.
Audrey Redheart is essentially this character that is you kind of meet halfway through the game. The premise of Wandersong is essentially that the bard has been tasked to save the world. Essentially, the world's ending. Bard's got to do something about it. But while he's been told that he was kind of like that they are the main person that's supposed to save them, there is actually another person that was also designated that role. Audrey Redheart is that individual. She is the hero. She believes that she is the hero of the story, so she is going to be the leader of the situation, and she will be the one that leads the... Oh, we didn't actually address our team names. The New York Bozos for me.
And I'm the Golden Griffins.
Yeah, so she's gonna lead the New York Bozos as the hero that she is. Maybe personality wise, maybe she might conflict with some people, but I think at the end of the day, as long as she's the star, that's what matters. That she's gonna be the one slinging the football. So there you go. Picture her like an Aaron Rodgers. All right, so how about you?
Okay.
Next.
All right, so for running backs, I have 2.
Okay.
You could
say both for this one.
Okay. All right, so I have I'll do one at a time.
Okay.
But I'll talk about both of them, but I'll explain them one at a time. So the first one I did was Little Kato from Final Space.
Okay.
Little, the word little, and then Cato.
Okay.
He is a child.
Okay.
I guess teenager. Cat teenager. Not quite boy, not quite man.
This looks like the feline version of Atreus.
Yeah.
With,
that
like,
is a very good way to describe this character.
Yeah, because he has like the mohawk too, and he has like
Right.
the strap. Like he has like the whole design is literally Cat Atreus.
Yeah, that is a good way to describe this character.
Yeah.
He his involvement in the story, I guess, is super spoiler heavy, so I'm not gonna describe what he does. But he's a very scrappy kid. He is likes to be as cheerful as possible, even in the very, very bad situations that the characters get put through in Final Space. Just Google searching, you can already see some shit.
I imagine. Yes.
But I like him a lot, and I think that his scrappiness will work out super well as a running back. The other one, my other running back is Keen from the Owl House.
Okay.
Who is another little dude. Kane is short for Kane of Demons. I don't think he's actually the Kane of Demons. That hasn't been fully explained. But he's like he's just a little cutie and also a bastard.
He definitely looks like a bastard.
Yeah. So simultaneous cute and bastard characters are amazing for me.
Yeah.
I love them. Yeah, that is Kane. I think that him and Little Kato will form a nice like 1-2 punch in the running games. That's why I went with both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love both of these characters. I love the designs of them. By the way, for my team, what I'm doing is I've been playing a shit ton of games this year, trying to get to 100 beaten this year. And so all the games that I'm drafting from are all games that I have beaten this year. And I always mentioned earlier, or like Matt mentioned, I probably would recommend all of these games, in some capacity, with some hesitation here and there. But for the most part, I think all of them are pretty good. So I also have two running backs. The first one being, I feel like is turning into like a mascot for PlayStation. At least I hope it does, I find them adorable, and I think that they're great. And that is Astrobot.
Nice.
The Astrobot, they're these little robots to roam around. They love their little hijinks, playing with little different PlayStation gadgets and Astro's Playroom and Astrobot Rescue Mission, and they are just these cute little guys that just love running around and jumping and platforming, and I feel like that they are that perfect size where they can like dodge in any kind of which way that they would like to, and maybe use their little hover ability sometimes, maybe get over opponents. So that would work out. The other running back that I have here is Turnip Boy from Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion.
I remember you saying this name, but I still have never prepared.
So I will say, this is gonna go a little bit of a sidetrack. Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion is a perfect waste of like 5 hours of your time. Not 5 hours is even overshooting it. It's a super short game, but I absolutely love it. It's basically this little turnip boy that gets evicted from his house by Mayor Onion, and Mayor Onion is this corrupt politician. And so the role of the game is literally a Zelda-like game where you're going through different areas, like kind of different dungeons, solving puzzles and finding enemies. And it's but one of the main tropes of the game is you finding documents and then tearing them up. Even there's like this one scene in the beginning where like you are you interact with a few neighbors, and that they each are like admiring the other, and like they ask you to deliver like a love letter, but instead of delivering it, you just tear it up in front of their face.
Okay.
and then just like, why? And you just move
Wow.
on. That's it. It's just, it's just the basis of the game. So Timid Boy is a little aggressive, and he carries a little tiny sword. But I think that I think he can do a good job carrying a football and destroying and saving reality from capitalism. It's great. So I think that's a core of Turnip Boy right there.
There you go, I guess.
I love him. I love that little boy.
Good.
Please don't take that out of context.
No, it's all right. All right, so I have 3 wide receivers. One of these things is not like the other, but we're gonna see what happens. All right, first off, Todd Chavez from BoJack Horseman.
Okay.
Todd as a character is interesting because he finds himself in a lot of situations that he shouldn't be in. For the first 2 to 3 seasons, he's sleeping on Bojack's couch. But by the later season, or by later points in the season, he creates a knockoff Disney World that ends up being the real Disney World because Disney World spelled their name wrong in the copyright, so they got to keep the name Disney World.
Okay. He
becomes the CEO of whattimeisit.rightnow.com, which is funny considering what we used to start our podcast.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. And in general, like becomes a huge success through just happening literally by being in the right place in the right time. It's literally like he just happens to be in the room when something is happening that gets him something. That is his entire character. He is amazing.
So what you're saying is, as a wide receiver, he'll be at the right place at the right time.
You are reading my thoughts.
There you go. There you go. I see.
That's why he's perfect for this.
Yeah.
All right, my next one is Tuca from Tuca and Birdie.
There you go.
Thank God it's got a second season.
Yes.
Tuca is another one who's very scrappy, very physical. I think will be good here. She doesn't, even though she's a toucan, she doesn't necessarily fly. She's just like a person drawn like a toucan, I think is the best way to put that.
Yeah.
But I think that her scrappiness and surprising physical capability and acrobatics wise, I think will fit very well as a wide receiver here. And then the last one I've got, and this is the one that's not like the other, is Kipo from Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beasts. Standout Netflix show for me. Kipo is a girl who gets lost on the surface about like 100 years in the future when the surface has been taken over by mutated animals, and she's got to try to find her way home. So she'll find her way home to the end zone, but I also think that her relative physique and capabilities will serve her really well as a wide receiver. And
she also looks like she can form big meaty arms to catch those footballs with.
Yes, that is something that I wish the posters did not spoil.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I spoiled it for others. But there you go. Excellent.
Spoilers in the next 5 seconds for Kipo on the Edge of the Wonder Beast, just so I can tell Chris.
Sure.
At the end of the first season, Kipo finds out that she's half human, half mute, or half mutated animal, and she can turn into a mega jaguar.
Huh.
Yeah. It's fucking sick. Fucking sick. Yeah. I love the show.
Fuck yeah. All right, I love that. A very nice, fun little selection there of characters. I actually know a few of them just because I've watched a little bit of BoJack and I recognize Tuca and Birdie.
Yeah.
There's my surface level understanding of TV.
There you go. I guarantee I do have people on this list who you know who they are.
Okay, I'm excited. All right. Next up for me for wide receivers, I want to start with someone that has the ability to probably know where the football is going to be when it's thrown, and that's because they have the ability to rewind time, and that is Max Caulfield from Life is Strange.
There you go.
The ability to she has this ability to she also wakes up with this ability, and it obviously has a whole lot of shit go wrong, and the world begins to end. It feels like that's a trope in a lot of fucking video games.
Yeah,
it's very consistent. But yeah, so it's just, but she has that ability, and I just think it's gonna serve her well on the field. One of my favorite video game characters. I mean, the fact that I feel like two of my favorite video game characters of all time are from Life is Strange, and that's Max and that's Chloe. Both of them are great. I love them. I ship them. They're fucking great, and I think that I'm very excited to see. She's not gonna show up again, but
no.
I'm excited to see what a football team with her on it would look like, with this in this situation. Next up, and forgive me because I might mispronounce this last name, but oh, I don't even need to say the last name. So there is a video game known as Disco Elysium, that you have a partner in crime for most of it that kind of helps you deal with amnesia. I feel like you would like Disco Elysium.
Really?
Because I feel like you've grown to love tabletop stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of reading, but it is like a deep. It's a story. It's a book. The game's a fucking book. That's
Okay.
what it is. I don't know if that would be interesting to you, but it's basically the game revolves around you waking up as a detective who has amnesia. I have no idea who the fuck you are, but you walk around this town solving a murder because you wake up and you were inebriated the night before, and you apparently were made a fool out of yourself. And you the reason that you're there is to solve a murder. And the partner that you work with is Kim, and Kim, he is a very level-headed officer, and I felt like he would be a perfect wide receiver to be an assist to the quarterback, as a support. He's also a taller dude. I think that he would have a speed. He's athletic. The officers that they are trained to be physically fit, and so I think that he would be able to run the football after catching it. So I feel like it fits in that situation. But I will say, and this Disco Elysium didn't hit with me completely. I did enjoy it. But I think other people enjoy reading a lot more, and would enjoy political commentary. Would enjoy it. It's a hard game to get through, though, because there are some characters that are just horrible human beings. You have to deal with fascists head on in that game, and it's not fun.
Gotcha.
So, but if you can confront that and you're interested in that, it's a very solid game. It's a very solid story, and it's wild how many different ways it could end, because it's a very branching narrative, overall. And the last wide receiver. It comes from a game I just played recently, a game that is a a spiritual successor to the old school Paper Mario games, and that is Bug Fables. And the character that I am going to have a wide receiver is V. V is a bee who she is skilled in throwing boomerangs, and I'm thinking about it, maybe she could have been a quarterback, but she also knows how to fly. She is known for she's very greedy, so she may be so I feel like she kind of fits the character trope of a wide receiver, where a lot of wide receivers are very much feed me the ball all the time, please. I want to be the center. And so V, I feel like very much fits the personality, and also I think that she is I think that she just has like the speed of a flying bee to run over, catch the football, run into the end zone. So that's where I'm at.
I do want to point out that when you search V, Bug Fables V, one of the first things that you see is V commits tax fraud. So there's a big theme of that, I guess, with your characters.
Apparently, yeah, but yeah. So I would, unfortunately, I think like after week 2, like the half the team gets cut because they've been caught in a fraud scheme. You know,
of course,
it's not that's kind of where we're at right now. All right. Well, are you doing offensive lineman next?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so I've got 2 offensive line, and actually, this was not intended. Both of my offensive line are from non-American animation studios.
Okay, interesting. By the way, I'm noticing that we have very similar taste in how we're structuring our
and
teams.
You know what? I think that it's going to continue for the rest of this. We'll see.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, so 2 offensive lines. The first one is Alphonse from Full Metal Alchemist. As much as it may not necessarily make sense plot wise or after the story wise, he is going to be in his big armored form for the purposes of this.
Okay.
Alphonse is the brother of the Full Metal Alchemist. He is trapped in a suit of armor after he and his brother attempted to transmute their mother back to life. Did not work out. And as a result, Ed lost 2 of his legs, and Alphonse lost his entire body.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like the backstory for the show.
Huh. Okay. Well, he got a nice body in return.
Right. So he's got a big suit of armor. It is hollow, but he has alchemy powers like Edward does. And he is a very, very protective person, and I think that those traits kind of fit pretty well on the offensive line. And I'm going to use that protectiveness on the defense as well, because I actually only have one person who's kind of a villain on this list.
Mm.
So I'm going to use that for the defense as well. But I figured Alphonse worked a lot better for the offensive line here.
Yeah, that works perfect.
My other one is from an Irish animated movie called Wolfwalkers. I chose Mabe, spelled Mebh, a very Celtic name.
Wait, I'm sorry. Spell that one more time.
Mabe, Mebh.
Mebh. Okay, sorry. I just was responding to a message.
Oh, that's all right. So Mabe is a wolfwalker, like the movie says. It basically think werewolf, except when the human body goes to sleep, the wolf comes out at night, and then the wolf returns to the body, and then the human wakes up. Is basically how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So Mabe, very scrappy, lived in the woods, grew up in the woods the entire time. Very protective of her mother, and her wolf pack. The idea of family is very important to her. So I thought that would fit on an offensive line type of thing, where the idea is to improve your team, improve your family, kind of deal.
Yeah,
being able to be a wolf kind of helps. You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's. I think that might be a core element of
course,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. I am also, as stated earlier, I have 2 characters. The first of which, is a chimney sweep by the name of William Blackmore. Now, you all probably like, what the fuck is he talking about? So there's a little game that was made, I want to say, when was it came out? It came out a decade ago, actually, called Stacking. It was a game that was made by the people at Double Fine, who also, of course, did one of my favorite games of all time, Psychonauts, and has done plenty of other weird, unique games. And so Stacking is a game that is of the Russian nesting dolls, and it's a
kind of game. Okay.
Yeah. It's a kind of collectathon game, puzzle solving game where you're trying to figure out the best solutions while you are this little the youngest of a family, Charlie, who's trying to get his family back, because all of a sudden his father suddenly disappears while working a job under a powerful industrialist, and then sooner or later all the family disappears as well. But so William Blackmore is the eldest of the family. He is the largest of the nesting dolls. And so my theory here is that he can protect the players from being tackled, because people could literally bounce inside him.
That's so weird.
And then he could just run over, and then he could try knocking him down. But if he's this large nesting doll, that's a hard thing. It's kind of like those dummies that, like, no matter how much you knock them down, they keep on standing up. If you know what I'm talking about, like the ones that have like the circular bottoms. Like that's to me what William Blackmore would be. So that's a perfect protecting, a perfect shield to enter into battle with. So that's that. And then my second pick is his name is Tall Jared. And so Tall Jared is he is a character from Later Alligator. He is this he's like I want to say he's the cousin to the main character of the game, not the one that you play, but the main person that you're helping. Pat. Pat is the cousin of Tall Jared, and so Tall Jared is just this. It says here on his Wikipedia, he introduces himself as Tall Jared, as people call him, though he doesn't know why they gave him that nickname. And if you look up Tall Jared, you could see. And then the whole thing kind of revolves around that his phone was broken, and you have to help remove the ghost from his phone. That's really his only role. But anyways, he's a tall alligator, who is very nice, a very charming alligator, and I think that why not like throw yourself behind or why not put yourself behind a giant alligator, shielding that in protecting you as if he's part of the family, because that game is very family oriented, in terms of its story structure. So yeah, that's my two picks. It's like, I mean, not that like it's like Wolf Walkers. It's not like, I don't think a super big movie, but yeah. I feel like everything that I'm picking is just so like, who the fuck would have thought of this shit? But this is the year I've had is just a lot of indie games that I've just really enjoyed.
I finally looked up a picture of Tall Jared. Oh my god.
He's a beefy boy.
He's huge.
He's a big so what's really funny is that he's in the what's called the very adult bar. It's not what you think it is when you hear that. It's just a bar. It's just a regular bar. But you enter the scene, and it's a point and click game. So when you enter the scene, you always just see this mask that you just think is a wall on the right side of the screen, but it's an alligator, and you click on it and you're like, oh, hi.
Hello, Tall Jared.
Hi, Tall Jared.
My god.
Love it. Fucking love it.
All right.
Let's do our defense now.
Our defense, who I assume we both have 3 of.
Yep, there you go.
All right, cool.
We got the structure down. That's the true structure.
This is the golden structure, at least the one that me and Chris have decided makes the most sense.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So, I'm gonna explain 2 at a time or two of them together because they both make sense, and I don't need to explain their characters. I'm going with Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Okay. Yeah.
And Sully from Monsters Incorporated.
Ah, brilliant. I love both of those so much.
They are 2 giant furry men.
I have a feeling though that like I could definitely see Walsh drafting Sully, so that that has a potential of being a repeat. Fine. But I love those picks. Those are great picks.
Just overall fantastic characters. Both of them have a protective instinct in this sense, protecting the end zone, and they both had a moment of antagonist. a little bit, where Beast was kind of like before he was the love interest to Belle, he was the one keeping her trapped, and then Sully realized how shitty the Monster Society was when he scared Boo. So.
Yeah, and by the way, just for people who are newer to this, we kind of characterized it that the offense are like the heroes, and the defense is the villains.
Doesn't always work out that way, but in general, that's kind of the deal.
There's some characters, like I have one on my team that's not, I would not characterize as a villain. It just ends up being that way because villains tend to be huge.
Right. So yeah, that's good. Yeah. By the way, there's a Disney Plus series, Monsters at Work, which is a show that takes place right when that starts right when Monsters Inc. ends.
Okay.
It's very cool to just see new stuff in that universe because I like that universe a lot.
Yeah, that is cool. Is it still the same two characters?
So it's Mike and Sully have taken over the company.
Okay.
So I'd say that Mike and Sully are usually the B plot, and I think part of that is because John Goodman and Billy Crystal are expensive.
Right, and are they still voicing it? Or they're
yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so that part's cool, but I would say Mike and Sully are kind of in the background. The main group is this group called MIFT, which is basically the facilities team, Monsters Incorporated facilities team. So all of the maintenance that needs to be done around the factory is who is mainly followed.
Right.
The now like supposed stand-in main character though, he is so boring. He's Jim from The Office but worse.
Oh no.
I like Jim from The Office, but it's not like he's just not that interesting compared to all the other characters around him.
Jim was an asshole. Let me just be fucking real. All right, listen. I'm gonna lay some truth down to you.
Wow.
All right? I've watched 2 seasons, 1.5 seasons of The Office because for whatever reason I don't binge anything, but I decided earlier this year that I was gonna try to watch The Office. That has since gone by the wayside because I just don't do this shit often.
It gets better. Season 1 is really bad, to be fair.
No, I know, but I even still. Like, Jim treats all his coworkers like shit. Like, he just fucking pranks them all the time, and it's just like, dude, get a life, you know?
It ends up turning into he just pranks Dwight.
And Dwight, to be fair, does deserve it at times.
Right.
Yeah, like, but even still, like, Dwight's annoying, but, like, do you have to really, like, make his life miserable all the time? Like, you know. I don't know. Yeah. There's layers. I just don't like those characters. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Give me more of a. Who's the Kevin? Give me more.
Oh, Kevin.
Kevin's a weirdo. I like it. You know, push him to the forefront.
Have you ever seen the Kevin's Chili clip?
Yes, I've seen that. I see that GIF all the time.
Okay, good.
That's I think it's my favorite one because it's always in the situation. It's mostly in sports. It's mostly when a team that held a lead is. I believe I saw like 10 of them on my timeline when the Falcons started losing to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Like that, it that has that kind of aura to it. It's pretty solid.
Awesome. All right, and then my last defensor is Catra from She-Ra and the Princesses of Power.
Okay.
Catra, another one, super scrappy, very, very interesting character to think about. But I like her, and I wanted to see her play on defense. Definitely like smaller one, definitely more fits that cornerback type deal. But I think that she fits in the sense of Catra's character is about getting in the way of other people to try to further her own benefit. So I think that in the sense of being a defender, that fits pretty well.
There you go. Wow. Yeah. Wait. So So She-Ra, Princess of Power was an 80s film?
No. 80s, so She-Ra was the 80s property, and then they remade She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, starting in like 2014.
Interesting.
Maybe sooner than that.
Okay. Interesting.
Like 2017. But
yeah. I see. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'm talking about the new one, the 27. When the fuck was this? Whenever it was.
Yeah, I trust you. I trust you. Yeah. So cool. I like it. I like
2018.
It
there we go.
2018. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. This is a cheat code. All right. I'm doing three defenses. Three full defenses.
As am I.
Yeah, three defensive people. The first one I'm drafting is Fury Bowser.
Oh my, what the fuck? He's just gonna stand there and no one can do anything.
We'll scale him down a bit, you know.
Okay. Ridley and Smash rules.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, we'll scale him down. Yeah, we had regular Bowser on a team last year, but you know, I feel like this is a new. We saw. I love Bowser's Fury. Love
phenomenal.
Bowser's Fury, and I hope that I'm excited to see what they do with that concept moving forward. I loved the interesting nature of it all, where it was like this creature that would like slowly begin to build its power up, and then show up, and then its downfall is daylight, which is maybe we'll just have this team playing in primetime all the time. But I don't know. I love this. I felt like there was just so many layers to Fury Bowser that just made it a lot more interesting of a boss overall, and so I feel like he's just going to be a solid defensive pick, villain pick of sorts. Next one, I'm going to go another villain here. Villain's I guess you could say is a villain. It's more so defined as a legendary bug snack. Mama Meowin is a giant watermelon that resides in a cave, and you have a boss fight in that game where you are fighting you were trying to capture the Mama Meowin while also fighting off these little watermelon children that are trying to attack you at the same time. And Mama Meowin is just it is probably the densest of the four legendary bug snacks that you fight in the game. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like it's just like this powerhouse that is just hard to take down and slice into. So I want
tap.
Say again.
You said it's hardest to take down and slice into.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
And so I was really trying to pick between the four. There's another legendary legendary Pokemon. Legendary bug snack where it's that's what it's all fucking based off of.
It's
like this cake that's like a spider. It's this giant cake that you walk around and you just fucking like you have to try to fight that. There's also a giant flying pizza that you fight in the game that throws pizza pillows at you, which is just so fucking good. But no, this one I felt like fit like with the ground football vibe of the whole thing. And then I decided not to do a villain for my third one. I decided just to do with a somewhat aggressive, not really. I mean, I think he's really like he's a kind soul, but he just seems aggressive in nature. But I think he just works with like he's very much into gambling, and he wants to I feel like he would want to get to the football and tackle the players for the football. And that's Glottis from Grim Fandango. And Glottis is just this lovable large behemoth of a demon who kind of takes the journey with Manny across across the realm between life and death. I forget what it's called specifically. And so it is just this incredible, like he's just this incredibly fun the whole game is meant to be funny, but he is, I think, truly the comic relief of the whole thing. And he's just this absurd, like he truly represents 90s CD-ROM games, because whenever he's around, he's always saying shit in the background while you're trying to figure shit out, and it's just like, so he's obnoxious too, so I feel like that alone could just will want to steer offensive players away from him, but he's coming for that ball and cashing it in for some moolah. There you go. All right, last but not least, it's kicker time. Who you got for your kicker?
All right. No one who's like super like out of left field. I'm gonna go with Leela from Futurama.
Okay.
Leela's first instinct is usually to kick something. That is the explanation.
There you go.
And I wanted to do someone from Futurama. I ended on Leela just because I felt like I could fit her in the best one of these places. But I like Futurama a lot. So.
Yeah. I actually, I'm in the same boat. I didn't do anyone that's kind of out of left field because I kind of did that with a lot of my other picks. But I picked something that I was, I've been talking about the game. I talked about the game on the last Gaming Coop, which, by the way, you should listen to because we talked all about soundtracks. But I decided to draft Chicory from a Chicory Colorful Tale. Now, in case for people who do not understand, Chicory is not the main character. Chicory is a bunny that is the original wielder of the paintbrush, who gives up the paintbrush to the character that you actually play, which can be named after your favorite food. Its canonical name is pizza, and so
Legend of Zelda rules.
Yes, exactly. There you go. I think that's probably what they're driving off. They're base the game around like a Link's Awakening type thing. But yeah, Chicory is I find that her character, I just see her wanting at this point no longer to be in the spotlight, and so even though kicking does have its own kind of realm of spotlight to it, it's still a lesser role on a team that I just come in and I kick and I get the job done. And Chicory has big feet because she's a bunny, so it's kind of works itself out there. So yeah, and that is our draft. Now we're gonna keep track of these. If you could remember to keep yours written down, I'll keep mine written down. Because at some point in August we will do a practice run with the new rules using these teams. We'll also assign stats to these teams. I think we'll do that maybe off podcast.
Yes, and we should do that because the stats that Walsh and Gabe gave our teams last year, I forgot that
they assigned it.
Yeah, and it was like I think we both had like -12s in defense or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah, there some shit went down with that I was just like, all right, here we are. No, I'm down to assign. We will work together. We'll make sure we're not biased about it.
Right.
We'll properly assign the stats across the board. But yeah, so we'll expect that later this month actually, because I'm going to probably upload this in August. We're filming this on July 30th. There's something big happened in the NFL that we didn't address. That's why. But yeah, so and in terms of, like I said, the schedule moving forward is really depends on when we get the draft done. Which I'm aiming for mid-August for that. But yeah, we will do a practice run of this, and we'll have the draft in August as well. That's kind of the basic for VBBFL for this month. But yeah, football's back, so we also have a lot of news that we will be talking about a lot more, getting back into the season. Maybe we'll just do some preview stuff for the NFL. We'll see. I feel so fucking removed from the NFL world in so many ways because I have not been keeping track of it. You're probably much more on top of like rosters than I am right now, Matt. But I'm hoping to get my mind back into the realm of football because I am getting excited. I'm getting excited for that football's coming back.
Yeah. Real quick, Carson Wentz is out indefinitely with a foot injury.
Ooh, no.
So, sorry, Indy.
That's tough. Who's their back? Is Brissett's not still there? Is he? No,
I don't know.
I think that Brissett moved on.
Colts QBs.
Yeah. Well, we gotta look at that depth
Jacob
chart.
Eason, who I think they drafted last year.
Huh. Yeah.
Fourth round QB.
Yeah, that's.
But Nick Foles is trending on Twitter.
Fucking do it. Fucking do it. I dare you, Colts. I dare you. Please sign Nick Foles. Just torture Wentz. Just absolutely torture this man with the presence of Nick Foles. That would be amazing. I would lose it. I'd be so fucking happy. Nothing against Wentz. I just think that's hilarious. Alright. We'll sign out here. Guys, thank you all so much for listening. And fucking if you're listening to this for whatever reason, send if you have any characters that you would like to see on your football team, let us know. Give us some ideas, maybe that could maybe help. Maybe some of your ideas might end up on one of those teams. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
Send us at Virtual Ball Boys. All right, thank you all so much for listening. How did your draft go, by the way?
Actually pretty good. Do you want to hear who I got?
Yeah, go ahead, hit me with it before we go.
All right. So so it's best ball, so I have to draft a lot of people at each position.
Yes, yeah.
But let me. Is this the one? That was not the one. Okay. So running backs. I'll just list my top few at each position. Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Chase Edmonds.
Okay.
Pretty cool on that. I went with Tom Brady at quarterback.
Perfect.
Gonna throw a lot of passes. Wide receiver Justin Jefferson, Keenan Allen, Kenny Galladay, and then I got Michael Thomas in the 7th. I know he's missing the start of the season, but as a wide receiver 4, when he comes back, I would feel pretty good about that.
That's a solid pick. Yeah.
And then Tyler Higbee for tight end.
Can you? I know this is not a permanent team, but if you do get Tom Brady in a regular fantasy setting, can you name your team
Tom Brady?
Tom Brady is our dad.
Tom Brady is our dad.
Please.
Yes, for you.
Yes, thank you. That's only if you get Tom Brady. Otherwise, it's just there's no point. All right, thank you guys so much, and we will see you in a few weeks.
Good night and good ball. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.